Hi, welcome to For the Culture Canada, the center point of art and entrepreneurship. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to make sure that you know to follow us on all of our social media at For the Culture Canada and all of our major streaming platforms at For the Culture Canada podcast. Now, if you happen to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, it would greatly help us if you rated us a positive review if you happen to like the show. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. So, this particular person I've been wanting to get on the show for a long time. And we've been in the talks with it, but I don't think it's really worked out to have him on here because of logistics. Now that he's here, I'm very happy to announce that we have today this individual. He's got a lot of accolades under his belt, or at least a lot of accomplishments. He's a hip-hop and R&B artist. He's got over 9,700 followers on Instagram, over 6,300 listeners on Spotify, and his album, These Are the Times, has been streamed over 110,000 times.
Jeez, that's a lot.
And it's only been released this year, and he's coming out with a new project at the 28th of August called The Rose Tapes. I'm really excited to announce that I have Teon Gibbs on my show today. Thank you so much for coming here, man.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You feeling tired from the recording you've been doing last night?
Oh, man, it's been not just last night. I feel like the last 2 months have been like consistent every day, going to bed at like 4 a.m., waking up at like 7 or 8 every day. So
yeah,
been busy, man, really busy. But things are going good. I mean, that's why I'm doing that, right? It's better to be busy and be tired than be well rested and have nothing going on. So yeah,
it's like that cliche saying, rise and grind, right?
Rise and grind. That's true.
Yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up. So I wanted to first get into your history a little bit and just sort of find out how you got to the place that you're at. So you're originally from Botswana.
Yes, sir.
Right? And were you born and raised there?
Yeah, so my upbringing was a little different. I was born there. We moved to Toronto for a little bit. We went to Angola, England,
really?
South Africa. So basically what my dad did is he worked with like helping developing countries manage their food resources.
Okay.
So that's a really fancy way of saying he would go to like places where they're experiencing like a crisis, like a drought, and you teach the communities, hey, this is how you can grow crops in like a really bad season of the year, just so that they could sustainably make it through. And so like he was going to really remote, small areas, and we were based in the Southern African region. So every 3 or 4 years, we would be moving to a different country, but Southern Africa is kind of where I spent most of my life. So when I was 18, I actually moved to Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. And so what did your mom do while you were there?
So my mom, like I guess by career, is a teacher, but I think it was really difficult for her because obviously moving to a different country, like different curriculum, different like certification that you need to have to be able to teach in that country. And it was really hard for her because we would go there on like a 1-year contract. So my mom would be like, all right, so let's say I get my certification to teach here, but in a year's time, we have to move somewhere else. So she ended up just kind of working any kind of job that she could get wherever we went to. Yeah. So she's worked, she's been like a healthcare assistant before. She's worked at like IKEA before. Like she's done it all.
Wow.
So, yeah. So she hustles.
Yeah, that's wild. And what are they up to right now?
So they actually moved to Kelowna 2-3 years ago. And now my dad works for the Ministry of Agriculture, and my mom's she works at Save On.
Okay.
So if you ever see a pretty black lady working floral of Save On, that's my mom's.
Shout out.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to Canada when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
And you've been to Toronto and all these places. What made you land all the way to Kelowna?
So my grandfather lived here. So because I had citizenship and Canada was our home base. Yeah. With my dad's work, which whoever company he was working for, whether it be like SADC or the UN or Save the Children, all the expatriates, they get one trip back to their home country every year. So I came back to Kelowna once a year for my entire life. Okay. And my grandpa was here, and I was like, all right, well, there's like schools here. I have citizenship. Like, at least I know a couple people in the city. So I was like, all right, I'll move to Kelowna.
Okay, very cool. And did your family have a musical background at all?
I mean, no,
No, you didn't have a musical family?
no one plays music in my family. No one, like, I mean, like, my parents have decent taste in music.
Yeah.
But as far as like actual musicians or singer-songwriters, there's nothing really in my family that I can think of offhand.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe like, I don't know, great-grandparents or something like that. But
Right. Right. And then before you got into hip hop and R&B, you were actually playing the guitar first.
yeah, so it's actually funny. So in high school, I was like, I was just a sad boy in high school.
Really?
So yeah, it was very
Why?
sad. I don't know, man. I just like, I think it started a lot to do with me traveling so much,
Yeah.
and I think that it's really hard when you're like you're a kid, you're growing up, and you make a friend, but then you have to leave them.
Yeah.
And that happening so often in my life that like, I wouldn't say like overly sad. I was just like, I used to spend a lot of time by myself.
Yeah.
So I started writing, and obviously I started writing poetry, hip hop.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I started doing that first. But then when I moved to Kelowna, I've been playing like guitar for since like music school, or like music classes in school, and
So right around like middle school era?
yeah.
Yeah.
I started playing right back then. And so when I moved to Kelowna, I was like, I tried to kind of push hip hop for a little bit, and then I was like, man, it's just not gonna happen right now. So I was like, you know what, man, I'm in this city. I want to play live shows. I want to work on my live act, my craft.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way for me to get live shows is to play in an indie alt band or like,
Yeah.
you know, like just a rock band. So
Right.
So yeah, I just started playing in bands here and there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever release anything under your own name with that?
No.
No?
No. I did a lot of songwriting, like session playing, and and like co-wrote a bunch of songs. One project that I'm very, very proud of that did get it didn't get as much shine as it should have.
Yeah.
It came out in 2016. It was Johanna Olsen's Comeback Next Year EP. I was very, very proud of it, man.
Yeah.
We worked on that for like 2 years. It sounded amazing. We recorded it in Kelowna in some guy's attic. His name was Ryan Deswan, and I was very proud of it. Like the quality of it was like top. It sounded so good, especially for like an indie recording. Like
Yeah.
it was. I was very, very proud of it.
Yeah.
We worked very hard on that, and you know what? Like she released it. We did the album release party, and it was one of those things where it's like musicians and artists, creatives, they can do the art portion of it, but when it comes to the business or the navigating the industry, I guess it's really hard for most people to figure it out.
Yeah, it is.
And it's exhausting. Like you finish a project, whether it's an EP, an album, you're tired. Like you've been working hard, especially if like you're very hands-on like me and you're actually mixing it yourself.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they get to the end of that project, they release it, they do the party, and then they're like, yo, I kind of just like want people to support it now. It's like, that's not really how it works. Like this is the time I actually have to work even harder.
Yeah. Especially in a field that you may not be so experienced at.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's like, I think a lot of artists and musicians, they don't realize that you actually really have to build cachet and trust with your audience.
Right.
And that's something that I learned while working on These Are the Times was like, I initially wanted to put out like 16 tracks.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to put out 16 tracks. I had them done. And I did a curation session with like some very close friends. And, we really got into it, man. Like, people were like, voices were very escalated.
Yeah.
And I kind of just had a realization. I was like, man, like I don't have the cachet and the pull yet to make people want to listen to 16 songs. And I was like, even 10 songs is a bit of a stretch at this point. But I was like, I just didn't want to cut more than 6 songs.
Yeah, I mean, even Migos, like how big they are, not everybody wants to hear like Culture 2 all the way through.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Culture 2 is a strange album to me, man. Like, it's got so many slappers on it, but I was also like, I was really disappointed with it, to be honest.
I was too.
Because I felt like they took the Culture formula and they're like, we're gonna try and recreate this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, like, yeah, it's a moment in time. Like you can't recreate culture.
Yeah, and they wanted to have all the members like on every single
Yeah.
track as well because they didn't want to have one missing, like what happened with Bad and Bougie.
I know.
So it's like,
Do it look like I left out of bed and bougie?
yeah. Anyway, so okay, you were in indie music first.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you find your way then into hip hop music? You said you mixed. Were you producing your own beats as well, or would you find other beats and then rap on them, or how did your process go?
Yeah, you know what? Like I do a little production. I still do a little bit of production for myself.
Yeah.
But I just kind of got to a point where I was like, man, I am very anal. And I was like, I would finish something and I'd be like, I'd work so long on it and be like, I don't even know if I really want to release this. Like, so I started working with a lot of producers that I know personally, and also just like shopping around, man. Like,
right.
You have resources, you have
SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'm saying like
Yeah.
you got your SoundClouds, you got your YouTubes, you got your SoundClicks. Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you use those resources? People are trying to make money. They're trying to have a business. They're trying to establish themselves.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you support them, and also like build a relationship with these producers? Because at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. So
Of course, yeah. It's good for the whole culture of everything.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So for me, yeah, I just sort of I will from time to time still produce, but I'm less into beat composition, and I'd rather like executive produce or like direct a band and work on arrangements. I'm a lot more passionate about that, I'd say, and I really enjoy a lot more because it gives you a lot more freedom to let someone else be creative and kind of bring their strengths to the table.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know. I prefer that.
Yeah, and it also, that relationship you create with that producer also may allow you to evolve your sound.
100%.
Right?
100%.
So it's very cool to just like collab with other people sometimes. It's almost better for you to do that than just rely on yourself.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Big
100%. Yeah.
100%.
Sick. So what was one of the first few like hip hop tracks that you made then? And how did you start to like get confident enough to just release them then? And did you first do that on SoundCloud like a lot of other people did?
Yeah, so I think what happened was moved to Kelowna in 2010, and I tried to do my own hip hop thing for like a year and a half, and I just don't think at that time, especially because UBC didn't have honestly as many black people as they do now.
Yeah.
I feel like Kelowna didn't really know how to support me, and I also don't think I was as good at what I do back then. So it wasn't like I was like mad at people. I don't think that the infrastructure was there to really do it to the level or to the extent that I'm doing it at now, which is not saying I'm doing it at a crazy level. But then it took about 5 years of just like working with bands, indie artists, and seeing that same trend happen over and over and over again, where I'll put in so much time and energy into a project, and then when it's done, they kind of fall a little bit flat on their face because they're like, all right, well, I don't really know what to do next. Or I don't know, or just simply some of them people just don't even have the work ethic.
Yeah.
So it was like 2016, and I was like, all right, man, like if I really want to make this like a thing and a career for myself and like be able to really cake off of this, I was like, I have to make myself the priority. And like I'm like an okay singer. Like I'm not amazing by any means. Like I can sing a hook or two every now and then, but like I know my strength is but I know singing is not my biggest strength. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So I was like, I met up with this dude Innie, and I met up with Innie, and it was just like, you know what, like, yo, let's just make a track. And we made a song. I sent it to a couple homies, and Kamar Burke was one of them, KB. And he was like, yo, that's nice, man, we should shoot a video. And this is kind of when he was like kind of first starting out.
Yeah.
Videography.
Yeah, he's huge now.
Yeah, he's popping.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my guy. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about him. But,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But he's like, yo, let's shoot a video. So I literally went from me working on my own stuff, kind of in the back end of things, working for other artists, and then in 2 weeks, I was just like, no, I'm gonna make myself a priority. We did that song, we shot a video, and we put the song out. And I was super, super appreciative of that because it was like real support, man. Like I'm not a guy. I don't care too much about the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers they'll come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's like when I put something up and I see like 60, 70 shares, and I was like, my first release, I was like, oh, okay, so maybe people are ready to, maybe Kelowna is ready to support something like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, okay, this is a good look.
Yeah.
And I was like, I put out another single, and I got similar support. And then I put out a third one, and I was like, okay, so this is like a thing now.
So 2016 is right around the time you felt it started popping.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like 2016, like, I was hungry, people were hungry for music, and it just kind of happened, man. It just started.
Yo, I have a theory here,
Yeah.
real quick. So, do you find that the whole soundscape of everything changed after the movie Straight Outta Compton came out in 2015? Like, I have this theory that the whole world let hip hop take over because they realized that it's actually such a dope genre after Straight Outta Compton came out. Now, obviously, everybody knows that hip hop has always been great and really popular, but after 2015, though, I've just found that like hip hop has just completely taken over the radio, taken over what people listen to on a day-to-day basis, and it's now the number one genre. And I feel like that's what happened to Kelowna. People were like, you know what? Super accessible band, NWA. Then everybody just started getting into it again. It's like, oh yeah, this is sick. I want to find some more stuff. I feel like that was a really good like access point for a lot of people. Maybe I'm just crazy, but
no, I could see it. I think I'm going to answer this question. I'm just thinking what I want to say.
yeah, man, take your time.
I feel like that movie Straight Outta Compton. I feel like that's I feel more like it's a pivotal moment as opposed to it being like the catalyst to change it. I think like kind of the way the hip hop industry had been shaped over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it had been building consistently.
Yeah.
And some people will, okay, so it's okay, I'm gonna give you my theory too. I'm just gonna say it. This is gonna sound crazy, all right?
Yeah. Hit me.
All right, so when we talk about hip hop, typically everyone's always leading back to like, yo, late 90s, it's the golden era of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had powerhouse artists, you know.
Yeah.
We had Biggie, we had Pac, we had Jay, we had Nas. We had a gang of extremely talented lyricists, rappers, artists that were putting out great content.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite accepted by the mainstream yet.
No.
Which is what made it even more appealing to the youth, right? So early 2000s, this is kind of when everyone says hip hop really fell off.
It was a bling era then.
Bling era and
G-Unit.
And then a lot more like repetitive choruses and hooks were coming out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like hip hop purists, would be like, that's trash, that's not real hip hop. So we got kind of into an area or time where it was like 4 or 5 years. Not to say this is what I agree with.
Yeah.
But there was like 4 or 5 years where it was like quote unquote trash. And some people will still say it's quote unquote trash, but it's just because they're not looking for good music.
Yeah.
Or they're too attached to lyrical, miracle, spiritual. You know, like they're too attached to like the 90s, like really, really gritty, like super lyrical, like rap.
Yeah.
So what I think though is in that time, that caveat of quote unquote trash, where it became a lot more commercial, and not necessarily having that commercial success, that was really good for hip hop because it made it a lot more appealing to the mainstream, especially a lot more appealing to the club because that's where it was being like played a lot more prevalently with that clubs. So come 2010, we have a new school of artists where we have our J. Coles, we have our Kendrick Lamars, we have our Drakes. And I think this school in particular, I would classify this as the second golden era because we haven't had artists that prolific putting out that much content so consistently at such a high level in a long time.
Oh, 100%. I genuinely think this era, this decade of hip hop music is far more prolific than early 2000s for sure.
Yeah. And so I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's very, very prolific. But just having those three as like quote unquote the leaders of the new school, and now just like leaders in hip hop in general.
Yeah.
I think, man, people may love him or hate him. I think Drake being such a major crossover to pop success was huge for hip hop. And so tying back to Straight Outta Compton, I feel like the last 15 years leading up to that movie was kind of preparing. It was going to happen regardless, right?
Yeah.
But then that movie comes out, and then it was, man, I remember watching that movie at the Paramount Theater, and the movie finished, and this white girl was sitting behind me, and she was sitting with her two white friends, and she was like, "Doesn't that movie just make you want to be black?" And I was like, okay, low key, that's like not okay for you to say. Like you're not getting this. You're like, whatever. But it's kind of that mentality where you see something and you're just like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I want to do it. And then just the way things had been set up with SoundCloud and then having the industry kind of shaped the way it was. Yeah, of course. A moment like that, it would totally inspire you to want to like start making the music. So I'd say it is a moment, but I wouldn't say it was like the main catalyst.
Okay, that's a really strong and smart perspective. I really, that's awesome.
I'm like a very long-winded person. This is gonna be like a 3-hour long interview. Just letting you know.
I don't have places to be today. You do. That's so like, true. Hey, I'm good. That's amazing. Yeah. By the way, that whole Miracle Lyrical, that's from Filthy Frank, ain't it?
Bro, Filthy Frank, but just, it's Filthy Frank.
Yeah.
But there's also just a bunch of dudes from, like, the late 90s who are still rocking do-rags and Timbs.
Yeah, shout out A$AP Ferg. But, listen, and besides, just to, like, one last point for myself before we move on, I feel like the 90s, you can sort of define it. Obviously, there's still lots of different styles of hip-hop in the 90s, but you can sort of define it with a particular sound. But in, like, the 2010 to 2018 and beyond, you can there's so many different styles of hip-hop. You can't pin this decade to one style,
100%.
There's, like, all the way from Death Grips to J. Cole to Kendrick to Lil Pump to, like, Smoke Perp, like, oh my God, it's the most insane thing I've seen
100%
this year, like this decade.
100%, man. Yeah. It's like we're at a point now where it's like, like you just look at metal music, man. Like how many subgenres are there in metal? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's just kind of where hip hop's at. So there's genuinely subgenres within the genre.
Right.
Which I think is actually important to be classified now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like someone should be able to be like, I'm a lyrical rapper. Like, I make pop rap. I make like trap rap. I make club rap. I make cloud rap. Like, I think people should have the freedom to say this is what I make and really own it. Because I don't know, it kind of frees you up from being compared. Like you can't really compare Lil Pump and Kendrick Lamar.
No. Right? But you can still enjoy them very much the same. At least I find I can.
You can enjoy both.
Yeah.
Like it's just not fair to compare them because they make completely different music and they have completely different goals and mindsets to approaching the music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, it's just like, I think classifying people within their own subgenre, it's like, you can't say Lil Pump's trash because you like Kendrick Lamar. Well, I mean, you can say that. I don't think you should say that. But, like, if you want to compare, J. Cole and Joey Badass, that's like, there's a lot more about how they approach music that is comparable. They're in a, I would say they're in a similar lane.
They are, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, for sure.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so getting off of that real quick. So you started popping off in 2016. And then when did you start working on before we get into your album, actually, you started working on a bunch of singles before that.
Yeah.
And so 2016, 2017 was sort of like your work on that. And then 2017 then probably was your work on your album then as well, right?
Yeah, so 2016, just like my main focus was singles. 2017, I was like, I'm gonna start working on a project. But I was like, I need to continue to put out a couple singles every now and then. And I was very cognizant. A lot of people were like, T, I don't think you release music enough.
Really?
And I was very cognizant of that. And I was like, no, I don't want to be in a situation where I put out a song every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. That's very prolific. That's really dope. I'm really proud of people that can do that. But for me, just the way I write, I take a lot of time. And I don't really want to put out something that I personally don't like.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel like I gave it my best. I don't like putting that kind of music out.
Yeah.
And I also think it sets a precedence with your fan base to be like, oh, okay, like T just put out a single. Let's enjoy the single for a month. And then, from the date of release, like 6 weeks to like 10 weeks, we can expect another song, so like another song to come out.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, okay, I'd rather have that where like people know there's going to be a little bit of a wait. And I think that's, because I don't know, I think if people are expecting music from you like consistently all the time and then you take a month off, they're going to be like, yo, what happened, bro? Like you fell off. And that's that's like an unrealistic expectation to have.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man has bills to pay. I have a job, right? Like I have a dog.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of other things going on too. So
You're a busy guy.
Yeah. So anyway, most of 2017 it was like I was working on the project on the back end. The first song that was actually recorded was Minds, and that was recorded like a year ago now. It was August 2017.
Oh shit.
And that song didn't come out until March 2018. So I'd literally been sitting on that song because I knew, I was like, I like the song a lot. I'm gonna put it on my project, and it was the first one to be done. So I just sat on it, and I just kind of kept working on other music. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it.
Dope. Okay. And was your mindset when you were making that just sort of like when you're making the project for These Are the Times? Were you finding that your mindset was a little different versus just making your singles? Like, were you planning on making those singles a part of your album in the first place, or what were you thinking on that?
Yeah, so I think with my initial singles, okay, let me just track back real quick.
Yeah.
So when I first was making like hip hop music, it was like hip hop live band. Very like conscious rap, very like lyrical, very like
Kendrick style,
very lyric heavy shit.
Yeah.
Kendrick style, like very lyric heavy shit. And so when I started putting out the singles, I finally kind of got out that mindset of like it doesn't have to be lyric heavy. It has to be cadence and flow and melody heavy. Like it needs to. I found from doing the singles like that, like having an approach of like, I want a really consistent flow and I want like a really consistent delivery. I think that really helped These Are the Times. So These Are the Times, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm taking kind of the sound of 2017, the sound of 2018, but putting just a little bit more care in general into the lyrics.
Right.
And so actually a lot of people I think were very surprised when they actually listened to the project a few times and they're like, oh, he's actually saying some like introspective or like very thoughtful stuff on here. He's not just like swag rapping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And most of the singles that came out, they were just like swag songs. Like, I just want to swag on people.
Yeah.
So being able to do that, I think it was the biggest mentality shift now is that, okay, like I can say something and I need to say something because it's a full project. And I think with a full project, if you're saying something on it, it's going to give your project more life.
It will,
because people can revisit it and re-listen to it, and they can find new thoughts. Or if it's just thought-provoking and they're in a different place in their life, 6 weeks after it comes out or 6 months after it comes out, they listen to a song and they're like, I really relate to that.
Yeah.
So for me, that I think that was the major like the singles to me, and I hate to say this, they're more like throwaways, right? They're just like, I just want to put it out, make sure people like know that I'm still working on music. But I think when I'm doing like a project, it's a lot more like I'm very cognizant of like I want it to have a theme or a couple of themes that are consistent throughout all the songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of putting it together that way, I think was the biggest change of mentality.
Yeah, because it sounds like that. It's got a very nocturnal sound to it, and it almost sounds like we're going into your mind and just sort of like seeing what your mind's at and where you see yourself headed, you know? And I really appreciate that. I do love songs that are just sort of like fun to play and just sort of like, yeah, you know, like Boss Like Lil Pump or Gucci Gang or whatever. But like when there's a concept to it all, it for me makes it far more immersive to sort of like get to know the artist better and the personality.
I think so too. I think it's really important to have that engagement and a little bit of intellect, because it just fosters a healthy relationship with the people who support you because they feel like they know you.
That's right. Yeah.
And honestly, like I look at J. Cole as like the model, like the ideal model of like, this is what I would like my fan base to look like one day. Because, man, I've been listening to J. Cole since the come up. So we're talking like over 10 years now. Listening to J. Cole. Well, actually, maybe about 10 years. So yeah, like, and I feel like I know J. Cole.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of grown up with him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when he was talking about college, like I was like, okay, I get it, bro. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And so I just kind of feel like I've grown with him and seen him develop as an artist, because he lets you in so much. And last year when he came to Rogers, and I saw him, it was the first time I'd seen an artist. And I've seen Kendrick, I've seen Drake. Yeah. And in their own rights, they're probably quote unquote better performers, like in the traditional sense of like an actual performance.
An entertainment
factor, yeah. But like, man, like just the feeling in the room, like the amount of times like J. Cole had to stop and be like, yo guys, like I get it, like you're chanting my name. Like, yeah. It was like people looking at him like he's like the Messiah.
Yeah. People like, do see J. Cole as the Messiah.
Yeah, 100%. So like I think like that's the model of success you want, where it's like the slow grind is gonna be better for you than having a viral hit in the long run, because your fans are. J. Cole can put out a trash album and it's gonna go platinum regardless. Yeah, he actually could. Like, he put out a garbage album.
People think that KOD was garbage. I don't think so.
I enjoyed KOD. People thought For Your Eyes was garbage too. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, but I just think it's. Man, like, I don't know, like, if you've been following J. Cole as long as I have, like, you know what he has in his bag. Yeah. Right? Like, you know, like, if he really wants to, like, be that, if he really wants to be that guy on a track, like, he can be that guy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I get kind of how people would want a little bit more fire from him at times. But it's also, like, Forest Hills was, like, it was a perfect album. Right? So, it's kind of hard to follow that up, like, realistically. It's... Like I mean, it's maybe a little too soon to say it's a classic just because of time frame, but I feel like it's gonna be considered a classic in like the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, definitely. When did that come out again?
December 2014.
Oh yeah, it's way too soon. People called Good Kid, Mad City a classic.
Like a year after it came out, I was like, come on, bro, like let it stand the test of time. I'd say that was 2013. Good Kid?
2013, yeah. It's only a year difference between.
I feel like if it still has a cultural impact 5-6 years later, I think you can be like, yeah, this is fair to say this is a classic album, in my opinion. Like, if people are saying, you know, Scorpion is a classic album, like, bro, that just came out. Let's chill out. Yeah. But yeah, so I definitely think that's kind of the model for success, the model for like how you want your fan base to be.
Yeah, that's fair, man. So that's where you eventually see yourself going.
I mean, like obviously, like I think I'm talented. I think I'm nice. I think I have real support, which is huge for me.
I think your 6,300 listeners think so too.
Yeah, that's actually super blessed. I didn't even know it was that number.
Yeah.
And like that's like 3-4 months after the project came out too.
That's wild.
So that's good, right? Because like your first month is gonna be where it's like the most popping.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't think it would be that high. I thought it would drop down quite a bit. So that's really, I didn't even know that, bro. You're putting me on game right now.
Yeah.
So I think for me, man, the next goal is like the next project I put out is just to expand that followership a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just being consistent with them.
For sure. What did you find changed after your album dropped in your life? Have you noticed people in your life have maybe started looking at you different, talking to you different, more randoms are hitting you up?
I'd say, honestly, I really hate to be that cliche guy right now, but a lot has changed.
Yeah.
A lot has really changed, man. I mean, yeah, I'll get into it a little bit. Like, it's on so many different levels. So much has changed. I feel like, and look, I'll start with my biggest victory, the one that means the most to me. When I was putting out singles, a lot of people really shit on me. Really shit on me. Man, this guy's trying to make pop music, man. This guy's, he's not that good of a rapper, man. All like saying all these things, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, it's fine. I was like, I'll let you know now, I'm a very petty person, I'm a very petty person. So like when people kind of shit on me a bit, like I may not like publicly react. I'll keep it cool. But I keep the receipts, bro. Like I know who has an opinion of me, and I know who feels a way about me.
Yeah.
And like I don't just like sit in my room and like, like write death threats about them or anything like that. But like it really motivates me. Mm-hmm. It really motivates me. So my biggest win was like knowing people who don't like me or don't like my music, hearing my project and being like, fuck, like I can't really say much.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good feeling, man.
Yeah.
Like, having people who you would in a traditional sense consider your enemies send you a message and be like, just so you know, we really enjoyed your project. Or like or they give you like the backhanded compliment, like, oh, we think you have a lot of potential, man, just keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, like that was really, really big for me. So I think on a very like surface level kind of approach, like that was a change that I felt really good about, because I was like, man, like these guys are not supposed to like my music, and they do.
Yeah.
And that to me was huge. But like there's a lot of other things that have changed. I don't know if it was just the album coming out. It was like the month of March, like I got the Nelly show. I did Nelly.
Yeah.
I did Recess, and I put out an album. And it was just like it was 3 kind of major wins for me. Mm-hmm. And then the project, like a lot of people listened to it. And I think in that month, they looked at kind of the things that had happened. And this is another major win for me. They stopped viewing me as like a guy who makes music. And they're like, he's an artist.
Yes.
Like, so that became my title, which was huge for me. Like, okay, people are taking me a little bit more seriously now, which I felt amazing about. But then the other stuff, man, a lot more people hit me up now for features. A lot more people, like producers send me beats all the time. Like, I'd probably say like 3 or 4 times a week, I get like a 40-pack of producers sending me beats.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Damn.
It's very, very cool. Like booking shows is a lot easier now.
Yeah.
That Spotify, when Spotify selected me to be on,
they put you on to Northern Bars and Fresh Finds, which is so sick.
When they put me on there, man, like I was getting offers for shows in like Toronto, getting offers for shows in like LA.
Wow.
And it was cool. It was cool. When people were like offering me shows, and I was like, bro, like I'm realistic, man. I'm not gonna charge someone to fly me to Toronto. I'm not gonna charge them like a crazy amount of money. Like, bro, just cover my flights and give me like a little bit of bread. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like a very, very minimal. I see the benefit of like being able to play shows wherever, on like a larger scale. Mm-hmm. So some people didn't follow through with the financial end of it because they didn't realize in Canada how expensive it is to fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think with the Spotify playlisting, that was really good as far as like artist support and like my peers looking at me as like, oh, okay, like he's doing something that like the coveted streaming platform is in support of. Like, let's take a little bit more notice of him. So
Yeah.
I was super blessed. But then I don't know, man. It's like you get more attention from like girls. You get more attention from like people you don't know, like people asking you for like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've had that happen a few times now. It's just,
Surreal?
like, it's a little bit weird, man.
Yeah.
Because I definitely like I think by far this is a lot of success for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm not ignorant, bro. Like I know in the grand scheme of things, like having 110K streams on an album on a local scale, small micro scale, it's great, man. Like it's actually a big deal.
You got to realize, if you want a perspective, that's a third of the population of Kelowna.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But like on a macro scale, like, you know, guys are putting out singles and like getting 100K streams in like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So on a macro scale, I understand that it's not that big of a deal. So for me, I don't look at myself as if I'm a big time artist. I'm not too gassed up about myself. Mm-hmm. So when people ask me for photos, it's really weird. But they're just like, but it's cool, man. Some people are like, yo, I saw you. I see the moves you're doing, and it's like I want a photo now.
Yeah.
Before I can't get one in the future. And I'm like, that's really great support.
Yeah.
And I'm super thankful for Kelowna. Like, I feel like a large portion of my following is in Kelowna. That's why I come back here so often from Van.
Yeah.
And I think the next goal for me is like to continue, if I can foster the same kind of support and following in Vancouver that I have here, I really feel like I can't be stopped.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Record labels want to see that you have the local support first. They want to see that you've built the infrastructure and that you already have the following, so it's less work for them and more money that they could potentially give you, right? So are you planning on in the future signing to a record label, or were you more so thinking of like doing it completely independently with like Chance the Rapper type of vibe?
Yeah, man. I'm not opposed to the idea of signing a record deal. It just has to be the right time.
Yeah.
Right? Like
because right now it'd be kind of premature, right?
100%.
Yeah.
If Sony came to me in like a month and they're like, hey, man, right after I drop my next project, Rose Tape, August 28th, right after I put that out, Sony came to me like, hey, man, we want to give you a deal. Obviously, I would review it because, like, who wouldn't review? That's like something like people dream of, right? Mm-hmm. But I would have to be very honest with myself and be like, dude, like, do you have the cachet where you can remain in control of your own music?
Yeah.
Do you have the cachet for a business like Sony to care about you enough that they don't put you at the bottom of the pecking order as far as releases?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the one thing I have now is, like, I can record my own music. I can mix my own music.
You own your own masters?
I own my own masters. Like, I write all my own shit, and I can release it whenever I want.
Yeah.
So let's say August 20th comes, and I'm like, hey, guys, I have one new song that I want to put on the Rose Tape, but I'm going to have to push the project back 1 week. That's my choice.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know it's going to be better for my audience and for the project.
Yeah. I'm
not getting pushed back because artist X, artist Y, artist Z are more important financially to the label. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'd probably be inclined to say no. Again, I would totally review it, but I'd be more inclined to say no at this point. But after I get similar support in like Vancouver as I have here in Kelowna, and then I can spend a good year really growing within Western Canada and down into the States, and then obviously Toronto because it's kind of like our rap mecca.
Yeah.
After I can kind of get a bit more cachet just on an independent scale, like in a year's time, if a label approached me, I'd again have to vet it and kind of like honestly think of where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I would be more inclined to look into it in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now.
Right.
Right now, yeah, I definitely think it's premature.
Yeah, I think that's smart. That's a very smart way to go, for sure.
Yeah.
And plus, a label would take you more seriously if you were to, like, say, no, I don't think right now is the time, maybe come back in a year or so. And if they were to see that you're able to, like, grow even more success just all by yourself, then I think it would look better on you.
Yeah, I think I think the thing that I would like in 2018 or 2019 is I would like to sign a management deal with someone. That I think is a lot more reasonable ask and expectation of both myself and somebody else.
Yeah.
Just having someone, straight up, like if you have no connections and you have no money, it's very hard to have your music heard. Mm-hmm. And I don't have connections. I don't have money. Right? So literally everything that has been achieved, it's just purely because people, for some reason, like my music.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to throw it out there. I think a large part of why Kelowna supports me so much is there's a big wave right now of like Kelowna people making hip hop and R&B.
I noticed, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I kind of, the first two singles, it came out right before that wave.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's obviously OGs in the city that have been rapping forever. Like, I'm not discrediting them at all. Like, there's guys who've been doing their thing, holding it down for a minute. But I'm just saying, like, with a more like modern, contemporary kind of sound. Mm-hmm. I kind of started that. I was kind of at the forefront of that when it kind of started.
Right.
And so I think just remaining consistent with it, I think people really gravitated towards that because they were like, he's a guy from our city. He's making pretty cool music. He's consistent. He works hard. And, like, he's really going for it.
Yeah.
And I think that was a large reason why people started to kind of be like, I can get behind him. Mm-hmm. And as much as people will laugh and be like, yo, like, yeah, you're a big-time artist in Kelowna, it's like, that's fine, bro. You can laugh at me or you can laugh at anyone from a small town who has a good following in a small town. But that small town saved my song enough times and they replayed my songs enough times that Spotify Canada was like, something's happening here. Mm-hmm. Let's just give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I've been on Northern Bars for almost 3 months.
Wow.
Right? Like, I've been on a playlist with Drake, Tory Lanez, Omar Lynx, Jazz Cartier. I've been on a playlist with those artists.
It shows you where you're going.
Right, for 3 months. Like, they haven't dropped me.
Yeah.
That's what's weird to me.
Yeah.
So when people kind of shit on me before about having a good fan base in a small town, I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But like, that fan base got the largest streaming service in the world to take a little bit of notice of me.
Yeah.
And because they took a little bit of notice of me, now Vancouver knows me a lot more. Toronto knows me a lot more. So I just think it's I'm super blessed, super fortunate, and I just gotta like remain consistent with it. Mm-hmm. And like, I think we kind of touched on it earlier, like the idea of people are like, yo, I'm gonna make a song and it's gonna pop, it's gonna go viral. Like, that's the wrong mentality to have.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That's the wrong mentality to have because, one, you can't bank on that.
It's too much chance.
Too much chance. And like, two, even if a song does go viral, you don't, like, yeah, if I had a song that went viral tomorrow, of course I'd be happy, right? But I also really know how to make music. Yeah, you do. And I know I actually have a bit of a catalog right now that's pretty consistent. Yeah. So people would be like, okay, he's going to be around for a while. But if you're prematurely just releasing music and you put a single out and it just goes viral, your next release is going to have so much like pressure on it that you're probably going to be let down. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to really maintain that same kind of like steam, same energy. Yeah. And like, overnight success can also be overnight failure. That's right. So for me, I'm like, if I just continue to foster really good following, organic following, like authentic views, authentic people commenting, like if I put something up and I get 100 comments on it, I'm very happy because I'm like, that's 100 people who they fuck with me enough to like comment on my shit. Yeah. So I just keep doing that. It's going to continue to grow. And then it's one of two things are going to happen. Either one song will catch and I have a great catalog at that point and everything will be good, or I'll just have enough songs that have 100K streams, 200K streams on like Spotify, and people and Spotify will take notice of that, or a label will take notice of that, or a management company will take notice of that and be like, we can work with this artist because he's fostered a following.
Right. Well, think about it. You just started and you're already at 100K. So imagine you keep on doing this, you know, let's say you drop 10 projects, or let's say you drop, like, you have 2 projects coming out this year. Let's say you have 3 more, right? Let's say you do like 2 next year, then 1 after that. 2020, you're at 500K like plays and streams overall, right? Halfway to 1 million. Like, you're on a track to like really like do something cool, because like the perception is already there. The perception of you being on that place is already there. So I feel like the trajectory that you're heading on is like really solid, and you have a good head on your shoulders. You understand what the long-term game is, and the macro scale of everything is what truly matters.
Yeah, and like literally what you're saying, like that's my plan.
Yeah,
like 2 more projects this year. Next year, 2 projects. And then 2020, just 1 project for the entire year.
Yeah.
And let's work on collaborations and singles in that year.
Yeah.
That's the plan, because I just see, yeah, like you just said, man, it's just better to have like the long-term vision, really like look at it, be able to kind of assess it. And putting out less music in a year means that 1 project that I work on, or those 2 projects that I work on, are going to be better.
Yeah.
Because I'm allowed to put more time into it.
Yeah.
And like, hopefully I'm not just working in my freaking apartment. I can actually like work in a legitimate studio again.
Yeah. And the space between projects is important too, right?
Yes.
It builds tension. Think about it. Like when Frank Ocean dropped Blonde,
it's crazy.
4 years of tension.
Yeah.
So, and that just blew up.
That's the thing, man. It's like people, with how disposable and like how microwave music is right now, because it just comes out so fast.
Yeah.
People forget about the wait.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember being excited, because like rollouts used to be completely different, you know, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Rollouts were like, if a single's coming out, you can bet your ass that like in 2.5 months an album's coming.
Yeah.
And like I remember growing up with that and being like, yo, I'm so excited for this dude to drop his album. And now when I think about it, in hip hop especially, there's only a handful of artists that have that.
Who would that be for you?
It's a little bit different, because, but yeah, I think people are like willing to wait on the big 3. People are willing to wait on Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole.
Yeah.
That's a given. But I feel like there's a lot of like smaller artists, or quote unquote smaller artists, that have built that cachet now. Like Logic, I feel, has got an amazing following.
Yeah, he does.
Right? And it's like, he's an artist where like you're willing to wait a year, because you know he's going to deliver.
Yeah.
Russ, love him or hate him, he has that with his fan base. Like, people are willing to wait. So I think that's just like Kanye. Like, people are willing to wait, love him or hate him.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, people are willing to wait.
Yeah.
Just because they know, like, when it comes out, shit's gonna be fire.
Oh, 100%. And honestly, I thought the wait for Ye and Daytona and all those projects were so worth it. Probably best month of music this year so far.
It was fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was fire. And the thing was like, man, yo, Kanye was really fucking up.
Yeah.
He was really fucking up, man. And I was just like, dude, Kanye West is another artist that, like, I've been listening to since I was like 11.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I also feel like I know him, because he used to be very introspective, very honest.
Yeah.
And then seeing kind of where he's been, I feel like I spend a lot of my time defending Kanye to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it
was just in that 2 weeks where I was like, oh man, yo, I can't even say anything, bro, because that is just such a dumb thing to say, dude.
Yeah, I know. But I genuinely think, here's another conspiracy theory that I have on this. I genuinely think that Kanye's a smart guy. He's obviously, you can't be like stupid and get to the place that he's at. He's genuinely a smart guy.
100%.
he says things that he knows are gonna like stir up a controversy, right? He always does this on a consistent basis.
100%.
When you watch that interview that he did with Charlemagne, he's completely sensible, and what he talks about makes sense about his psyche and everything. And then when he goes to TMZ, then everything freaks out. And what do you think TMZ is known for? Just being fucking wild, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he acts that way. It's like completely contradictory to what he was doing with Charlemagne.
Yeah.
And so I genuinely think that like everybody was just playing into it, and everybody believed exactly what he wanted to. He manifested the whole thing.
Yeah, I honestly, man, like I can see it. To be honest with you, I can honestly see.
To me, it's just what makes sense to me. You know, it's just a theory.
Like, I feel like Kanye West is like there should be like a psychology class on Kanye West.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because for sure, like his psyche, his mentality, like there's just so many layers to it. But I would say I agree with you that he had to be somewhat aware of like getting what kind of reaction he would get at TMZ, and he knew he had to be a certain way at TMZ.
Yeah.
I feel like the slavery comment, he may have been like
he pushed it too far.
Yeah, I think I think when the dude called him out, like when I watched that video back, like, you can just like see him like self-assessing and being like, "Yeah, I might have fucked up."
Yeah.
I might have fucked up. But I remember when that happened, I was like, Kanye, literally the only way you can save your career at this point is you have to put out the most fire music.
And he did.
And he did, yo.
Yeah,
is such a fire album.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that album. I keep on playing it back and forth, forwards and backwards. It's amazing all the way through. And Kids See Ghosts is crazy too.
Kids See Ghosts is dope. Daytona's dope.
What do you prefer, Kids See Ghosts or Daytona? Or sorry, Kids See Ghosts or Yay?
I'd say Yay.
Yeah? I feel the same way. Yeah.
I just feel like this was a project. Ye was like, he was kind of letting us back in again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, okay, Kanye, this is exactly what you needed to release.
Yeah.
Like, what you're talking about, what you're saying, like hearing yourself open up about being bipolar, and struggling with depression.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this is exactly what you needed to say because one, these things are true. Or from what I know, they're true.
Yeah.
And two, like you have to have people like you again. So the only way you can do that is just by being yourself and being honest.
Yeah, and we empathize and sympathize with him a little bit more after understanding what his mental state was.
And like I think it's crazy, man. Like I put out a project in March, and I already can tell you people like interact with me differently. So I was like, yo, can you imagine for like 15 years you put out nothing but fire ass music?
Yeah.
For 15 years you put out nothing but fire ass shoes.
Yeah.
You put out nothing but, love it or hate it, fire ass clothing. Like everything you do is so successful. And I forget what track it was. What Kanye was like, yo, it's kind of hard to be humble when you're stuck on a jumbotron. And I thought about it. I was like, yo, like honestly, bro, like just being an independent artist, the amount of people I meet who are way too confident, like they overly believe, like they think they're the shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like we're all just grinding right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of people just genuinely think they're the shit. And I'm just like, could you imagine how much harder it is to be humble when you're literally on a screen that's like 40 feet?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. I've never really thought about that perspective before.
So I think his entire reality is skewed, man. Like he's married into the most famous family for good or bad reasons. I'd probably say in the world, yo. Like, yeah. Like they're like almost as famous as like the Queen, yo. Like that's like it's like everything about his life is so accelerated, so like blown up and like ridiculously like blown out of proportion. And I don't think he has enough people who keep him grounded. Yeah. Since his mom passed anyway.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. But yeah, I don't know. For me, that's kind of just like my thought process with Kanye. Yeah. That's like, we could literally talk for like 2 hours about it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. No, Kanye is such a fascinating guy. He needs a biography. Like, I don't feel like he's at the place yet to have it, but I would so love to read his biography on his life.
Yeah, 100%. I just feel like I feel like there's so much that happens in his life in the back end that no one sees, no one knows about. And yeah, I'm a very small independent artist, dude. But like, I already know that like there's a lot of really greasy shit that happens in the industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah, even at this level, there's a lot of super greasy shit.
Yeah, because people's self-awareness isn't there. You know, they try to like step over top of each other to get to the place.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Have you been practicing anything to sort of like keep yourself grounded, or anything that you do to like keep your psyche in check?
There's a few things that I do. I'll be honest with you, man. Like I have pretty bad anxiety.
Really?
I have pretty bad anxiety. So for myself, like obviously having anxiety and like always being consistently worried about my own mental health.
Yeah.
There are things that I have in place to kind of look after myself already.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have like systems if like I feel an attack coming on, or if I start going to a dark place in my mind, I have like things in place where it's like, okay, T, check yourself, look after yourself. These are people that care about you, reach out to them. Like I have things in place that'll help me with that.
Yeah.
So that's good already, as far as kind of keeping myself grounded.
Right.
But I say my two biggest strengths as far as trying to stay as grounded as I can is one, self-awareness. Like I just caught so many L's between like working with all those like independent bands and like investing a lot of time and energy into people and basically coming out with nothing.
Yeah.
Like so many L's that like I'm very self-aware now of like where I'm investing my time, who I'm investing my time into. I'm very aware of like people's demeanor and their body language is communicating to me.
Yeah.
And I'm a little paranoid.
Okay.
Like I don't trust everyone so easily.
Right.
So I say the self-awareness is very key.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also have a couple people who I keep close who will just tell me, yo, bro, you're fucking up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I try to minimize having yes man in my corner.
Smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, because I feel like, and it's easy, man. Like when someone's like, when things look like, yo, this guy might pop, man. Like it's easy to like get excited for him and then just want to like praise him and shower him with compliments because you kind of like, that's your guy, right? That's your boy, or like that's your girl, whatever, right? And you just want to support. You want to be there for the ride and the journey. But sometimes you just need people that'll be like, yeah, this track wasn't good, bro. Don't put it out. And I have a handful of people who I know will tell me that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's not good, bro.
That's smart.
Yeah, so I keeping those relationships are really important to me, and trying to keep my circle small is really important to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Getting on that whole keeping your mind in check. I was at a very dark place in 2015. That's when I really found. That's when Kendrick dropped "To Pimp a Butterfly," which is to me the best project he's ever done, and to me also probably the best record I've heard for the entire decade, for sure, for me. Okay. And so I went to go see him in Washington, D.C., and I got to meet him there as well for November 1st. And I asked him, actually, how do you keep your ego in check when you find that with all the noise around you, it just keeps on inflating, and the ego does deprecate artistry and like your craft. And what he told me was just prayer and meditation, and so like that resonated with me a lot, and so take that for what it's worth. But I thought it was just an important thing because Kendrick has a really good head on his shoulders. Like I can tell that he's quite a conflicted person, and the same relationship that you have with J. Cole I have with Kendrick. And so he's a really conflicted individual, but he keeps a straight head on himself, and he like keeps it there.
100%, man. Like you need to make time for yourself. And however you spend that time for yourself, like it needs to be truly a time of like, I think, self-reflection. Yeah. So prayer, meditation, or journaling, like whatever you can do to, I say, get it out. Yeah. And I think that's an amazing thing about like people who have faith as well. Yeah. Faith-based people. I think that's really an amazing thing, is like being able to kind of give your issues up to your God, your deity.
Yeah.
Kind of surrender them a little bit.
Right.
I think that's amazing. I know for myself, again, you kind of have to be a certain breed of person, to be honest with you. I think to kind of navigate this industry and kind of keep a good head on your shoulders.
For sure.
Because a lot of people would be like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna lay this down, before God. I'm just gonna pray about it, and they'll feel better. But sometimes I'm like, but are you dealing with it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. At the end of the day, sometimes you really need to deal with things.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to you need to be you can't just lay it down all the time,
because it'll fester inside you.
100%,
it'll
right?
totally
So,
break you down. Yeah.
And so I think you gotta know the difference between letting something go,
Yeah.
or just letting it fester, like you said.
Yeah,
You know the
exactly.
difference. That's hard. That's very hard.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It could break people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do, yo.
Yeah.
But I think that's amazing advice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kendrick has completely changed my life for sure.
100%.
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos and I've never really cared for them, but I know for sure I'm going to get 2 lines from his song Mama tattooed on my legs.
Yo, that track is crazy.
I know, hearing him live do it, mind blowing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have on my legs in my handwriting, I know the universe works mentally on the left, and then I know the perks of bullshit isn't meant for me on the right. So, yeah. It's hitting 11 o'clock here for you. Here, would you like to wrap this up a little bit, or
let's keep it going, bro.
Keep it going?
Yeah,
okay, dope. There's so much stuff that I want to talk to you about. It's crazy.
That's really good.
It's been awesome having you here so far.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back into it, I wanted to let you know, by the way, that I thought the rookie season music video was really smart.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, I thought having Cam and those girls sing the lyrics of Rookie Season was so smart. I was just like, man.
Yeah, I think, man, I gotta say, and I'm kind of glad you segued into, I'm glad you segued into music videos. None of this would be happening without KB.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say pause now because I'm gonna say some really soft shit. But
Go for
honestly,
it.
I am so thankful for what he has done for me and enabled me to do. And we look at things like we're a team.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's really, really good. It's a really, really healthy relationship, and I approach him with ideas. I have a song. I say, this is my idea. These are 2 things that I really, really want to happen in the visual. And then I just say, but you're the creative, bro. So I just trust him with it.
Yeah, trust the process.
So I came up with the idea of having everyone else singing the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I was just there's too many rap videos right now that are coming out that are all the exact same. Right? And I was like, I need to start differentiating myself in order to kind of stand out a bit more. And Rookie Season, according to the 50 blogs that shut me down, is
their loss.
Yeah, I know. But according to them, is too mainstream of a song.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually have no bad blood towards any blogs about that, because I get it. It's your niche market. You want to cater to your niche market.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, so there can be 50 people who work at a blog, and one person you can literally, sometimes someone sends me a song and I don't like it. Mm-hmm. But then I listen to it a couple hours later after I take a nap and be like, oh, that song's actually kind of fire. So you listen to one song one time and you have a million submissions to go through. Of course, bro. You're going to have some songs where you're just I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And it could be completely subjective to your mood. But I am aware that it is a very mainstream kind of billboardy kind of song. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to make.
Dude,
so,
you're owning it though.
Yeah, I love it, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, we need to separate ourselves a bit in the video and what we can do through our Instagram. So my idea was just to have everyone else kind of sing the lyrics, because I wanted people to be able to yo, I have ownership of this song. What we're talking about in this song, this is for me. And then it was also, I thought about the marketing side of it too. It was like, we have, these 3 or 4 amazing girls who did a great job in the video, but they have their own followings. They have their own fans. They have their own friends and family. So for them to be able to say, yo, mom, check this video I was in. And then people watch the video and they're like, yo, you really killed it. They're going to be more inclined to share it because they're like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Right? So having everyone to be able to do that on their end and be like, yo, I'm really proud of you. Like, you really own this video. I thought it was a smart marketing tool.
It is very smart. 100%. Yeah.
And then the stuff with like pausing the video and then like having me talk and rewinding it, like that was all KB.
Wow.
I didn't know he was doing that. He just said, yo, I just want you to tell me about, like, he's like, can you record something? I was like, sure. He's like, just talk about rookie season, what it means to you. And I was like, okay. And I sent it to him and then he just did the video and I was like, all right, it's pretty dope.
So fire.
I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really where my head was at, yo. It was just like, just kind of, I want all my visuals kind of going forward to be a little bit different. I think it's important.
Yeah, definitely. And it contrasts the music in a really nice way. It's not like conflicting, but it's actually pretty complimentary. Like, even though the sound of your album is like kind of dark and nocturnal, the music video is like really bright and like captivating. Yeah,
that was also KB.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, man, I'm just a sad boy, bro. Like, I just want everything to be dark and like, I don't know, yeah, like you said, like very nocturnal, very like ethereal.
Yeah.
And KB was like, "No, we're gonna do this in the daytime, bro."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right," I just trusted him with it.
It worked, man. It really worked. Especially that shot with Camso in the mirror. I just love it. It's just like, that's what I would do, or like other people would do. They would just like hype each other up in the mirror, you know? So relatable. Loved it.
I thought that was a sick shot. It was just like really like, man, it's actually crazy, dude. Like, I remember when we put that video out.
Yeah.
The amount of people who shared it, who liked it, who commented on it, who messaged me and be like, this is really dope, dude.
Yeah.
I was like super blessed with. I was very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
And what I really like about that song is like, it doesn't have crazy views. It doesn't have like 100,000 views on YouTube or anything.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, in a weird way, it's like, it kind of meant something to people, man.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
And like, when people kind of stumble on it, like I'll every now and then do like a sponsored ad of that video on Instagram. I have a lot of people just message me and be like, yo, man, like, what you're saying really motivated me, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, dude, like that's legit.
Yeah. And that's important. In terms of like you as an artist, right? Because you're at a point where it's just sort of like you're balancing the lyrics really well to a point of relatability, but it's also like it hits you on a cerebral level.
That's dope. That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a really strong balance, and that's a thing that I don't know if a lot of people are necessarily aware of, but you seem to be. So it's dope.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I really take a lot of time. And that's always the battle. I'm like, I don't want to be like, I always battle between like being too introspective or too relatable.
Yeah.
It's like, I always battle with it. Sometimes I'll rewrite a verse like 20 times.
Yeah.
Like, really, really, I'd say that's probably my biggest pitfall, is that right now, I just know it's so important for me right now to make music that people want to share and want to really like, but also it has to mean something to me.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to 2019, I think at that point I'll have a bit more freedom, because I'll be like, I will have kind of built up a rapport with my audience a bit more.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think like these are the times it's kind of like softens your palate.
Yeah.
And the Rose tape is gonna sound not really like These Are the Times at all.
Yeah, is it like a little more melodic? Because I hear a little bit more melody show up on your Instagram now.
Yeah, so the Rose tape, I'm not sure how far back you went on my Instagram feed, but I don't know if it was the end of last year or the beginning of this year. I said I'm putting out 3 projects. One is going to be These Are the Times. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to be a collaborative project. Mm-hmm. And then For the Soul.
Okay, who are you collaborating with?
So, for the Rose tape, it's myself, and every song is gonna have one or two other voices on it.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And really, the Rose tape, I guess, is kind of me exploring my relationships, like current relationships, past relationships. Not a lot of people know this, but I was actually engaged at one point. Yeah, I was engaged at one point, and then that kind of, obviously we didn't get married. But it was bad. It was really, really bad.
How long ago was this?
Homegirl, like, we broke up, I'd say 6 years ago.
Wow.
But
how old are you right now?
Yo, don't even worry about it, man. No, I'm 27.
Okay.
But homegirl, we broke it off like 6 years ago, and homegirl moved here from Botswana to be with me.
Wow.
And so when we broke it off, we had like 2-3 years of like, she didn't want to leave the country because she was happy here.
Yeah.
But then we were never really able to move on as to like the full capacity that we wanted to.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of really broken relationships with new girls.
Yeah.
And I had this really huge broken relationship. And then it kind of follows my journey of like newer relationships, right? Kind of after coming out of that. So the Rose tape is really, it's inspired by a handful of people. And I really wanted to do something very different. These are the times.
Yeah.
Because these are the times it's going to be like, you're going to get another, these are times 2 is going to come out.
Yeah.
These are times 3 is going to come out. That's going to be my series. So
okay.
It'll always be snapshots. Because I always want to show people that, I can do what your favorite rapper does as well as him.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do it better than him.
Yeah.
That's why I want to show people every year, every 2 years. I want to put that out so that people are kind of aware that, oh shit, okay, this guy he's really nice.
Yeah.
But the Rose tape, it's just really good for me to collaborate with more people. And I was like, I wanted to have a little bit more of an R&B kind of new wave, like Gold Link kind of in vibe to it.
Yeah.
I want to lean more into like the Smino kind of vibe. Just because, one, I think it's a super wavy sound.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But 2, like, I'm also starting to think now about like growing my audience, right? So if we're going to get into numbers, 55% of my followers and listeners are males. I know, surprising. I'm just playing. 55% of my followers are male, right? But 6 months ago, before I put out Spanish Banks and Late Night,
it
was 85%.
Wow,
It's
dude.
crazy. That's a crazy change.
Yeah, that's also a really good ratio, by the way. 55%.
That's a good ratio. That's a good ratio.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, I actually have a female audience that I kind of need to like cater to them as well.
Yeah.
So I get complimented a lot about the song Late Night.
Yeah, dude, that's a fire song.
Actually, more from guys than girls.
Really? What?
Because I think it's, at the end of the day, it is still a love song.
Yeah.
But I wrote it from a grinder's perspective. And I think a lot of guys could relate to that. And obviously girls can relate to that too, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't make like a super soft like R&B song that was like really like in my feelings, like super like down on myself kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So I feel like it kind of connected. So that kind of inspired me to be like, okay, well, if I can make music that can cater to my guys supporting it or tide them over a little bit, but I can grow my female audience a bit more. And at the end of the day, here's a major key for any artist listening to music. At the end of the day, female audience influence the male audience way more than the other way around.
Yeah.
So how many times do you go to a show and the girl's there with her homegirl and they're the two fans of the actual act, but the boys came just because
The girls are there.
the girls are there.
Yeah.
So you're literally doubling your followers by having a larger female fan base.
Wow.
So that's a major key. So for me, I was like, all right, well, I would like it to switch to be like 55 to 60% female and then 40% male, just because I can grow.
Yeah.
I can grow a lot faster that way. So it is going to be a little bit more melodic, a little bit more R&B based. I get to work. I'm working with some really, really talented artists right now, and I'm still at a point right now where it's like I don't have to. Let me say this. I'm at a point right now where like I can choose who I want to work with. I don't. Someone doesn't just hit me up at this point and be like, let's collaborate. Like, I really vet it now. Right before, I was just like, yeah, let's work, bro. Let's go, 100%. But now I can really vet it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about long-term, like, who can I build with in the long term?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who do I see in 5 years is going to have a large following? So that's kind of where my headspace is at now. It's like, it's all thinking about macro scale.
Yeah.
So everyone I'm working with on this project, they're on the project because I believe in them as an artist.
Yeah.
Right?
That's important. That shows integrity, by the way, because you want to support them.
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, it's going to be super dope that in like the next little bit, I get to put out something that's very different because I don't want people to really compare it to these other times.
Mm-hmm.
Something different, something that's going to potentially grow my audience. I know some guys are going to be like, yo, bro, it's just too soft. So for them, I'm also going to put out a couple little singles where I'm really going in.
Yeah. Okay.
Just so that they know that like, yo, like I'm not changing my sound. I think that's what I want people to understand is like I'm doing concept projects right now, right? I'm like everything is a concept, so I'm not changing my sound. These Are the Times was not my sound. It's not gonna be my final sound. I'd really enjoy These Are the Times. Rose Tape is not my new sound for the soul, which is gonna sound completely different to these other two projects. It's not my final form.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm not Golden Frieza yet.
Yeah. I love the Dragon Ball Z stuff, by the way.
Oh my God, yo. But yeah, so I have that coming out for the soul at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be one little EP with like an artist based in Vancouver that's going to potentially come out before the year's done. And that's completely different.
Okay.
That's a grime project.
A grime project. What?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Are they from the UK or Toronto, by the way, that person? Like,
It's from the UK.
Okay. All right. There you
UK.
go. Yeah. Authentic grime. Yeah.
Authentic grime. And I lived in London for 4.5 years.
Oh, yeah. You were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in London for 4.5 years. So I'm still gonna be Teon. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have like a British accent all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I genuinely get it. I feel it. Like I know what it's like to be in London and hear Stormzy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know what that feeling's like.
Yeah.
So yeah, like yeah, it's very different. But that's my whole point right now. Is like I just want to do as many different things as I can to really not be able to be put into a box.
Aren't you afraid that it might alienate some of your fans, though? Right?
Potentially.
Yeah, because I mean, I
Potentially.
get it. Like as an artist, though, very, very cool that you want to expand. Absolutely, I support that 100%. But
Yeah.
I just think on a receiving end, fans do get sort of like,
What's
about
he doing, fam? I
Yeah.
get, no, I 100% am aware of that, and I know it's a risk to take.
Mm-hmm.
But my mentality towards it right now is like, well, I want the people who I'm going to alienate potentially. And it's a little different too, because when you hear the songs, you'll be like, "Oh, he's still Teon Gibbs." Like,
Yeah.
you'll be very aware of that. People that I'm potentially going to alienate. In reality, like, yeah, I don't ever want to lose a fan or someone not believe in me anymore.
Yeah.
But I also know that who's listening to me right now, I have a good enough rapport with them that they go to my Instagram, I put something up there, people are aware of it. So even if we just did a little snippet where I'm like, I want to grow my audience, but I still know that like I'm gonna get person X on this single or on that project. Like they'll hear that, they'll know it. Like, so I'm pretty confident that I'm not gonna lose too many fans.
Yeah.
But what will happen is, even if someone doesn't feel something, they don't really want to support it or get behind it, like For the Soul is going to be so different to the Rose tape that they're probably going to be like, yo, For the Soul really slaps. And then These Are the Times Too, which I'm going to do in 2019, they're going to be like, oh, this is why I fell in love with his music in the first place.
Okay. That's very smart. That strategy is very cool.
So it'll come full circle. And I believe in myself enough to know that every project I release, it's going to grow more than the last one.
Yeah, 100%.
So even if you kind of fall off me for like a project and you don't really want to check me out, it'll come full circle, because like eventually it's going to come to a point where it's like, okay, I've been hearing his music everywhere. I'm actually going to have to listen to it now.
Yeah.
And I think with having those projects and then a tour in October, I really, really think like it's going to continue to expand. And the thing that's super dope about is right now, my major following is here.
Yeah.
My major following after here is Vancouver. What's super dope about me making different kind of sounds of music right now, is that I can choose what I play at different venues.
Yeah.
And that's really important, because a lot of times for like hip hop acts, like you'll play like a little showcase, and it seems really, really weird to be doing a massive trap banger and there's a room of people and they're there to sit down, have a drink, and just listen.
Exactly.
They're not there to engage. So in that environment, they're looking for the introspective, conscious, aware rapper who has really good wordplay.
Right.
But if I have nothing but trap bangers in that environment, it's not really going to land well with them.
No, it wouldn't.
Right? But then center of gravity, festivals, people want to turn up. So having enough of different sounds of music, for me, I'm thinking of the live show, which to me is my most important like facet and feature of what I do when I'm in control of it. Like the show at the Black Box, I was completely in control of what I got to do.
Right.
And I definitely think by far that's the best show I've done in my entire life.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to get into that show, by the way.
It was super dope, man.
Yeah.
It was super, super, super dope.
Yeah.
But I got to be in control of it. Like,
yeah.
People walk into a room, they're like, okay, we're here to see a hip hop show. He's a local dude. They don't know who I am. And then they're like, okay, he's got a DJ. Oh, he has a keyboard player. He has a drummer. Okay. That's kind of different. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they're more inclined to actually give me a chance just because they're seeing the live aspect. And that's a major thing I've noticed in Western Canada is like people like live music so much. And in Western Canada, if we're honest, like hip hop is not in like a local music scene. It's not a very respected thing. Like I've done a lot of shows where I go and they're like, they don't even give me a sound check. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to sound like ass because you guys don't respect this craft or what I do enough to give me a sound check.
Yeah.
So having a band touring with me already makes people think, okay, this is a little bit more legit than just like a local man trying to put some music together.
Yeah, definitely.
So having a catalog where I can be like, all right, I'm playing at Gilton Company. They really fuck with jazz music. If I have jazz songs in the bank, I can play there and people will be like, oh, this is dope. You really fit the aesthetic and the vibe of this room. Playing a nightclub, people want bangers. If I have those in the bank, I can do it.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I get a lot more followers.
Yeah.
Like the offline presence, I'd actually say my offline presence is better than my online presence.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like I in Vancouver, there's a lot of artists who make hip hop and R&B who you'll see with like 700,000 views on a video, but like their offline presence is not there, and whatever they're doing online is not translating for some reason to offline.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have 10,000 followers on Instagram and you can't get 100 people to your show, in your hometown at least.
Yeah.
In your hometown. If you can't get 100 people to your show in your hometown, something's wrong about that.
Yeah, there is.
Something's not okay with that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm very fortunate to be able to say, like, I headlined the Black Box. We sold out, right? And that's because the offline presence is good. And then from that show, shout out Rare Breed, shout out Kenny.
Yeah.
People who came to see Kenny and Rare Breed, some of them, like, didn't really, like, listen to my music. But they saw the show and they were like, bro, I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's this one comment on my little Instagram snippet of, like, the lights and stuff when I was, like, having an intimate moment. Someone commented, it was like, this is probably the best moment I've seen at any concert in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's legit. So that's the kind of thing that, like, a live show having a wide variety of music is you can cater to the venue a lot more. And because you're catering to that venue a lot more, you're allowed to have a lot more people engage with you on a long-term scale.
Absolutely.
They're like, yo, I saw Teon play here. Yo, bro, it was crazy, man. It was a sweaty-ass room. People were moshing. There was grime tracks playing. Like, it was crazy, bro. Yo, I love his music. And then being able to say, like, yo, man, we went to a jazz club and, like, you know, guys were singing.
Yeah.
Like, the crowd was engaged with him. Like, that's where I'm going to win.
That's smart. That's very dynamic because I don't think a lot of people do that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And it's also, by me taking all those L's all those years, I have really good relationships with musicians.
Yeah.
A lot of guys really kind of respect me.
Yeah.
/ believe in me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have a lot of really great musicians who are like, if I were like, hey man, I need you to pinch hit for bass. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
They'll do it at a drop of a dime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's really, really good for me. It's like having that dynamic, those relationships. It allows me to do something that no other independent artist is really able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then because no other independent artist is really able to do it to the same degree.
Yeah.
/ like actually having the musical knowledge as a hip hop act, because not a lot of hip hop acts really need to be too concerned about the music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, they don't need to be concerned about modes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't like if somebody tell someone, well, this is Phrygian mode. They have no idea what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
But being able to communicate that to a band and be like, hey man, I don't like the scale you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to advise, it allows me to have a lot more control and do things that other people can't do. And because I'm doing that, it fosters more moments that people won't see anywhere else.
Exactly. It differentiates you.
Like that Black Box show, that snippet, man, is like one of my most proud moments, because I'm like, you're not gonna go to a local show and see that happen.
No. And dude, honestly, like, when I see that clip, when I see pictures of that moment, it strikes me the same way that I see, like, Kanye when he's like promoting the St. Pablo merch and everything, you know, like his hands in the air and like Kid Cudi is right beside him. Like, it's like,
that's amazing. Yeah.
Same type of vibe to me. 'Cause it's like iconic, you know, it's like Teon Gibbs. I think of that scene right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think what's super amazing about that is, like, you can't get better promo than something like that. Like, in a really organic, intimate moment like that, or a really organic moment where everyone is just like really turned up. Like, you can't fake those moments.
Yeah.
Right. And I was so happy that we got that footage. And I told KB, I was like, don't edit it, just color correct it. Don't chop it up. I don't want quick edits. Like, I know you're like really well known for how good your quick edits are. It's like, I want people to see it and be like, oh shit, it's not just like
manipulated.
Yeah, it's not like this guy played for 40 minutes, but they just chopped up the best footage in that 40 minutes and made a 30-second clip to make it look super lit.
Yeah.
It's like it's just straight playing.
Yeah. How did that happen anyway? Like, how did everybody get together and like shine their lights on you and everything?
One thing I'll say, I know, any local artist listening to me or listening to this, feel free to take this. I don't care. I am super hungry and super thirsty for engagement. So my set started and everyone was scattered. You know how it is when people are scattered. They're in the back, they're talking, they're grabbing their drinks. I literally had the mic in my hand and I'm going to people. I'm like, no, we're going to the front. I'm grabbing people individually and I'm walking them to the front. And I'm like, for me, I don't really care. Like, I don't care about not looking that cool by doing that.
Wow.
Because by me getting people that close and like everyone being like, okay, like I'll respect him enough for one song and stay, and then they can go to the back.
Yeah.
But then the one song was really good.
Yeah.
And then they're like, people here are having a good time. We're having a lot of fun at this concert. And then people just decided to stay. And so just forcing everyone to be, that's the thing, man. People are, it's just like, it's just human beings are so concerned with how they appear to other people.
Yeah.
That they don't want to be the first person. You ever go remember middle school dances or like high school dances?
Yeah.
Like there's a girl you see over there. I want to dance with her, but I don't want to be the first person to go over there and dance with the girl, right?
Yeah.
You're super nervous. And it's the same mentality when you go to like a local independent show. It's like I don't feel comfortable being like the first person to really turn up or really engage, especially if it's not like jam-packed.
Yeah.
Like you go to some really small venues and it's jam-packed and there's no choice. Mm-hmm. That's also a major key for any independent artist. Don't book a venue you can't fill.
Yeah.
Don't go play a club that's 1,000 capacity and you can only bring 200 people. Mm-hmm. Because it's gonna look whack and no one's gonna want to no one's gonna want to engage because they're like, there's too much space around. People are looking at me.
Yeah.
You find a venue that has 150 people capacity and you book 200 people for that. You have 150 people inside, and then people go in and out and smoke all the time, right? So that's just gonna happen. So if you get in a small venue and pack it, everyone's gonna they have no choice but to enjoy the music and be engaged with you. Mm-hmm. But that night, I was not willing to take the L, so I brought everyone to the front, and then I was very fortunate that I had like some people who actually were really familiar with the music that night, so they were engaged.
Yeah.
And then it just happened, man. Like I could tell. Me and the crowd had a really good interaction going. And then we did the breakdown with the band and they were playing on the keys. And I just said, yo, let's just turn all the lights off in this place.
So smart.
And I said, let's just do it. Let's make a moment that you're not going to see from a local act in Kelowna, BC.
Yeah.
And that's not shitting on anyone. It's just me saying like, you're just not going to see that because as much as people want to support local and they want to support the arts, it's hard to do. Yeah. It's very hard to do.
It is, which is why I'm doing this podcast in the first place, where I'm giving people that access point to understand what your story is.
Shout out for the culture.
Thanks, boss.
Yo, I actually think it's amazing that like rookie season, I say I might do it for the culture, and I'm doing this podcast. I've been wanting to say this the entire time I've been here, but I think it's super dope.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's actually amazing, yo.
Yeah, no, thank you. I thought, the name has been in my head for like a year, and I knew I wanted to do this, but the time never felt right. But.
Yeah, no, it's a really good name. You nailed it, yo.
Thank you.
And I think as far as like marketing it on the large scale, like it's not anyone can listen to it anywhere in the world. Yeah, for the culture. Yeah. And it's like, okay, what are we talking about? Oh, the arts. Yeah, sick.
I'm figuring it out, man. Like it's a process. I'm learning from Gary Vaynerchuk a lot and trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm asking friends, just sort of like, just sort of like seeing like, yo, you got any tips? It's always good to have like good connections with people. Never, shy away from kindness and make sure that you're appreciative of everything that you have. At least for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gary V's out here giving people major keys to success, yo.
Yeah. I want to share you something that he has. He just released it maybe a few days ago, but he actually he has this slideshow, a 28-page or so slideshow about everything that he does to market. Like his entire marketing strategy, he literally just put out there on the internet.
Yo, put me on.
I'll definitely DM that to you for sure. Like I'm looking at it this morning before you came over. I was just like, this is fire.
Yeah,
oh my god,
I'd love to see it, man.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it. Like I'm very like I question a lot of things.
Yeah,
Because I'm just like, man, like if it was that easy, we'd see a lot more people with that same kind of success.
Yeah.
And I think a major thing is, and this is just my opinion, you can tell me I'm wrong, we can talk about it.
Sure.
I think, and obviously we're not talking about this one in particular because I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah.
But I think in general, like a lot of self-help stuff is based on your demographic, where you are in the world. So a lot of times I hear people talking about like, yo, this is how I came up, this is what I did. And I'm like, well, first of all, you went to a high school with like 8,000 people.
Right.
You were in one of the largest cities in America.
Yeah.
So that doesn't relate the same to, you know, a 16-year-old kid who's in Vernon.
That's the key. Yeah. See, the thing is with self-help books, I really don't give a shit about self-help books at all. Mm-hmm. And I just find the thing that Gary Vee does that's different is that it doesn't talk about like, you should get more motivated by doing this, you know, like do more things to make yourself more motivated. It's more like tangible shit, right? It's like you either do it or you don't. It's like a binary mindset. And it's just sort of like, these are the pillars of what you have to do. Like, just to sort of like summarize what he was saying in his slideshow is like you have one piece of big content, right? This large pillar, and you basically condense it into smaller digestible forms that you place onto Instagram and other social medias, and that's it. And the thing that that separates you from everybody else that's like super successful is literally just that, you know, the difference between you and maybe say Drake or Kanye West. Like aside from all of like the connections that they've built over the years and Drake being on Degrassi and everything like that, it's literally just they've just been persistent for way longer than you have, right? Yeah. That's the thing that differentiates you from anybody that's up and coming right now. People might look at you, Teon, and say, I want to be at that level. But the only thing that separates them is just literally, aside from the talent and the connections, is just you've been persistent. That's the key. That's literally the key. Like all you have to do is just be persistent. And if you lose sleep over it, then fucking lose sleep over it. You know, just do whatever you have to do to get the content out, because that's all that's most valuable.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I can't knock what you're saying at all, dude. Like,
yeah,
consistency and consistent quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Exactly.
Because it's like literally what we were talking about like that Instagram video that I'm so in love with.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I want that to be a thing. I want more consistent moments like that where we're creating things that are like, wow, I want to believe in this person.
Yeah.
Right? Rookie season, like KB's idea of like, hey man, I want you to like narrate a little bit.
Yeah.
That like people will hear that like, oh, I want to support him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree, man. Like consistency is key. And like just I'm praying and hoping, man, like I can just be in a position soon where like I can have someone who can just kind of help a little bit. Just help me with like, hey man, I got a guy who works at Noisy. I can get you an article.
Yes.
Like something like that for me would go a really long way.
Yeah.
And especially because I'm in this is a small town.
Yeah.
Being from a small town and landing an article like that, man, like that'd be huge for the culture, bro.
Yeah.
Because people would look at that and be like, wow, yo, like I have so many people who have seen me working towards music and seeing a lot of like things that fell short and who hit me up now and they're like, bro, I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, you really worked really hard for this. And like, yeah, it's a really good feeling. So if I could get it like a Noisy or a Complex article, it's not gonna do much for me as far as like streams or listens, but just for like continuing to have people like really believe in me, that'd be big for the community, man, I think. And like, and I'm not a selfish guy, man. Like, obviously I want to like I would love to be a huge artist.
Right.
That's why I'm doing this, man. I want my music to reach people. But like, I'm not selfish with it.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, like, let's say, because we spoke about them a little earlier, let's say Rare Breed became a very large act. Yo, that's a good.
Yeah.
I want that to happen, right? Because at the end of the day, like, they're coming out of BC. There doesn't have to be one artist from BC. Like, there can be multiple people.
Yeah.
There's room, there's space.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the thing is, like, it doesn't matter about who pops off first. As long as someone pops off, like, it just draws more attention to the market.
Exactly. And I'm just like straight up, because I'm not born here, because my parents aren't born here, but I'm proud to say that, like, Drake representing Canada is famous, you know, Justin Bieber, like, all those guys. It's like, those guys are from Canada. Fuck yeah. I'm so psyched. That's why I'm psyched about what you're doing, or what Rare Breed is doing, because it's like you're putting Kelowna or Canada or all that on the map, right? Even more so. You're helping it all move along.
Man. I think it's crazy to think, like, you look at the Billboard charts, man, like, there's a lot of Canadians on the charts right now.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Like, from Alicia Cara to Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
You know, Jazz Cartier to Drake.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Right now, how, like, in the last, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
5-6 years. How things have kind of changed.
I genuinely love it. I think it's so amazing.
I think it's amazing too, bro. And like, it is, it's almost all of it's in Eastern Canada. And in reality, I do have to spend time in Eastern Canada to continue to grow myself and potentially have to move there for a little bit. Like, but I like the idea of being able to say, yo, like, I'm repping BC, holding it down.
Yeah.
And there are definitely artists who are repping BC and repping it very well, like your Mercules and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they're doing their thing. But for me, I want to be able to take it to like a mainstream level, where like, because I feel like when you have a couple mainstream artists from a region or an area, the opportunities for everyone open up way more.
Exactly, because it shows that, like, they have something.
Yeah, right. Drake, The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, all kind of popped off around the same time.
Yeah, and we have now Nav coming out of it, Tory Lanez coming out of it.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's amazing, man. Like, just being able to like create opportunities for other people to eat, other people to like actually pursue their dreams. Because if you were to tell someone in high school, yo, man, like, yeah, you're from Langley, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he's like, yo, man, like, yo, I'm actually trying to be like, I'm trying to be like an artist, man, like a recording artist. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, okay, well, like, what if that doesn't work out? What do you
Yeah.
Or like say to someone, basically tell someone, yo, that's not realistic. Or they say like, hey, who do you know from Vancouver, BC is actually a mainstream artist? And it's hard because there's not many, if any at all, really.
Yeah.
But like, you're in Eastern Canada, it's still extremely hard, and there's more competition. But it seems a little bit more viable, right? Because it's been done.
Yeah.
Like you've seen people who are at that level.
Yeah.
So it's like out here, you don't really see anyone, right? So you're kind of like, it can't really happen.
Well, I just feel like that just means like the space is there now, like for somebody to take it.
100%,
so
right?
I want to see somebody just like be there and be like, yeah, I fuck with that, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that's really it. Like, it's a pretty Western Canada's a pretty wide open market as far as like a premier, like headlining artist, right?
Yeah, and dude, we have so many artists from Vancouver.
Oh, we have so many artists from Vancouver. It's actually fucking wild.
Yeah.
Being in Vancouver and like meeting people, I was like, bro, how do we not know who you are, bro? Like, you're super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great talent. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, the infrastructure in Western Canada is not really there to support the local scale as much as it should be supported. Mm-hmm. But with all that talent and with the access to creating your own music, I think it's going to be forced in the next 5 years that like, and the truth is, it is going to be Vancouver just because it is our hub.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It is our largest spot.
Yeah.
But like in the next 5 years, you're going to see a breakout artist from Vancouver. Within the next 5 years, for sure. Yeah, you might even see two.
Yeah.
And when that happens, there's going to be a lot more money going into the local art scene.
Yeah. I can't wait.
As long as those artists don't completely jump ship.
Yeah, true.
Right? There's a lot of artists that are from Vancouver, but they're claiming Toronto now.
Yeah, because it's just a bigger name, you know.
Bigger name.
Yeah.
Goes further for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with like you being an artist from Vancouver or Kelowna or Victoria or wherever you are from in a smaller market, leaving to go to LA, doing your thing in LA or doing your thing in Atlanta or doing your thing in New York, doing your thing in Toronto, wherever you decide to go. But I do think it's a problem when you kind of abandon where you were before.
Yeah, and besides, it doesn't look good to your hometown or to the country or the city that you represent, right? It's like you turned your back on us.
A little bit, yo.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are like, well, this is where my opportunity is, so I'm gonna like really have to rep this place. And it's like, that's cool. You can do that. Do your thing. But like, the way I look at it is like, I remember Drake 2012 bought a place in Florida. Because he was in Florida a lot making music, working.
Yeah.
Networking, shooting videos.
Yeah.
He needed to be there.
Yeah.
But never at any point did we not think he was from Toronto.
Yeah. Because he always repped it.
That's what's up. That's the mentality you have to have.
Yeah.
It's like, wherever I am, this is where I'm actually from. And you have to rep it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's what I hope, man. Like I know I've seen not a lot, but I've seen a few Vancouver artists who are a little bit bigger than me move to Toronto, and they're Toronto mans now. It's a shame.
Bruh, take the open market.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Like 100%, that's what I'm working towards. Like that's my goal. Like that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And I just have to make sure I keep fostering honest relationships with my fan base so that it can grow organically. I don't ever want to be in a position where it's like, oh, I got X amount of views on this video, but oh shit, yeah, the only reason I got X amount of views on this video is because, you know, someone invested all this marketing money into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or someone bought fake views.
Oh, I know, dude.
Like that, I don't ever want to be in a position where I have to maintain fake shit by spending money.
Yeah.
Or I have to maintain a certain followership by spending money.
Well, think about it. If you're like consistently having to like spend money to get all your views, you're losing money every time you make a video. Who's taking the bigger L?
Yeah, no, it's totally true.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, like, I think you actually just like, as an artist, a recording artist, doesn't matter what field, you're gonna have to just take the L.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be like, okay, I'm investing money for 3 years. I'm not gonna see much come back. But as long as you're building an organic fan base, it will come back.
Organic is the key right there.
It will come back.
Yeah.
Like again, Russ, love him or hate him, yo, you can't really argue with him when he's like, yeah, I just did a show with 13,000 people in Portugal.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue with that. It's
like you're at the place that a lot of people want to be. Like, yo, props.
And like, yeah, I mean, he's a little wild. Some of the stuff he says is a little bit reckless.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, he's built a good organic fan base.
Yeah. Definitely.
So.
Shit, man. Before we wrap this up, I wanted to just talk to you about Keoken Fatality.
Keoken Fatality. See, there you go, man. That's the one.
Yeah. Dude.
That's Dark Jacobs.
Yeah.
That is the potential grime project that may come out this year.
Yo, because I heard that and I was like, this sounds nothing like what you do. And I'm just like, this sounds so fucking fire, right? And then Adam22 heard it on No Jumper and said it was legendary shit.
Yeah, bro, that was very fucking lit, dude.
Yo, that's insane.
Yeah, and I was really happy that he listened to the song long enough that it got to my double time verse.
Yeah,
because I'm very is that double time section I'm very proud of, yo.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I know as soon as he hears that he's gonna like this track.
Yeah.
Obviously I was the second verse in the song. But Keoken Fatality, man, like it's just a fun ass song.
Yeah, it is.
It's hella lit.
Yeah.
Dark Jacobs is, I mean, he's not a grime artist at all. Like,
Yeah.
he's a very, very creative person, hyper creative person. So whatever he chooses to do with his own music, it'll sound completely different to that for sure.
Yeah.
But he's just such a hyper creative person, and we just got together and we made that song, and we're like, yo, man, let's make like 3 or 4 more like this.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Just 3 or 4 more songs that just like are sound like that, and just like, man, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I am genuinely like, you asked me earlier, like, are you sure about worried about alienating? I actually really think about it, but I'm just genuinely like, man, like, I don't think so, dude. Like, I think I believe in myself so much. I believe in myself so much, and I have the right people around me that'll tell me that's not the look, bro.
Yeah.
But I believe in my talent and my work ethic. So it's not like K.O. Ken, which sounds nothing like Late Night. Nothing like Late Night.
Yeah.
I think it's fire as fuck.
Dude,
And
I think it's fire.
No, everyone who hears this, like, this shit is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I'm just going to keep putting out music.
Yeah.
And then when I finally release an actual album, that's when I'm like, okay, this is what my sound is going to have to sound like.
Yeah.
Which is going to be very hard to do.
Well, it's just trials, man. You just figure it out.
Yeah. I think the concept album, I think that's where the concept album may hurt me. Concept projects may hurt me, is like, people who fall in love with K.O. Ken might hate Late Night. People who fall in love with Rose Tape might hate For the Soul. Mm-hmm. So when I try and create a project that's going to be like 18 songs long, you know, there's a lot of bases to try to touch.
Yeah.
And I just have to be able to understand which ones I should not touch. Mm-hmm. And just be like, that was just a moment.
Yeah. You have to really trust your sense and maturity as an artist at that point. Mm-hmm. You have to really trust that what you're doing is like worth it.
Yeah. I think a song like K.O. Ken, like, I think whatever we developed from that one song and that project, I feel like that's going to be more like a moment.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for people to be like, okay, here's one thing that happens all the time when I hear people arguing about Drake.
Okay.
Right? This is what I love watching it happen, yo. People be like, yo, Drake's whack, man. He just makes these soft-ass songs.
Yeah.
And then someone will be like, okay, bro, let's look at the catalog. Drake's catalog is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it all sounds so different.
Yeah.
And what's super dope about it is like, what do you like? I like, I like really lyrical shit, man. And then he has a song.
Yeah.
Guarantee you'll have at least one in that kind of sphere.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people who are like fans of certain artists can be like, no, I really believe in this dude, yo.
Yeah.
And so being able to do a bunch of different things, I really want people to have that kind of belief in me.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, I really believe in this dude. Like, if he's going to be on a song, I know his part is going to be fire.
Yeah. So you want to build a catalog like Drake then, right?
I wouldn't say, I mean...
Or in the sense of like, hey, you want something lyrical? Teon's got it. You want something like melodic?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Teon's got it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think if you're going to be a premier artist from a region...
Yeah.
You need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be a premier artist and be like, yo, he made a love song. It's just kind of nice. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yo, he was saying some deep shit on this track.
Yeah.
Yo, guy was spitting fire here.
Yeah.
He was actually really funny on this song.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's important. Like, I remember when Eminem was like that guy.
Yeah. Eminem was amazing. I thought everything that he did, honestly, I kind of stopped listening to him after Encore, but like everything that he did before that was great. And one thing I wanted to just say about Drake before we like finish this is that everything that he's been doing over the last couple of years, the thing that draws everybody in is always there's one line that he draws in, right? Like Hotline Bling, right?
Yeah.
There's also Look Alive. There's always just one line, or even God's Plan. There's always one line consistently. He does this consistently. There's always one line that everybody always listens to. It catches in their head, and it draws people in to listen to his shit. And I think he's like nailed like this sticky hooks better than anybody right now. I think, like on a consistent basis.
I would have to agree with that, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think Drake's an artist that has been so consistent for the last 10 years. That is kind of taken for granted a little bit, to be honest with you. Like,
It's just because his albums just haven't been that great. Like,
I would agree. I would have to agree with that.
he's got fire
on like a
singles.
mass appeal scale. Like I personally, I really fuck with Drake's albums.
Yeah.
But on a mass appeal scale, and I think that's the problem, is that he's done so many different things so well that, like, when he put out If You're Reading This Is Too Late, I think that was the first time that, like, hip hop heads were really like, okay, Drake, this is a fire fucking album, bro. Like, because it was 80% just him spitting bars, right?
Yeah.
But then like his female fans or people who like R&B may not have liked it as much. So then like Views comes out of Controlla, which to me is a fire ass song. Your hip hop head may be like, yeah, it's whack, soft. So I think it's really hard to be in a position where like you've done so many things so well that it's hard to please all your fans and your audience. Which is why I really respect J. Cole so much.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, at the end of the day, bro, I'm putting out whatever the fuck I want to put out.
Yeah, he's got the integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really respect J. Cole.
But there's not many people that can do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just them staying authentically them.
Yeah.
At least J. Cole is, for sure.
For sure. And the thing is, him being able to do that and being as large as he still is, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Because most people would just do that and then their families would diminish a little bit.
Yeah.
But his has grown.
Yeah. So, good job, J. Cole.
Yeah.
Let's get you on this goddamn podcast eventually.
Yeah. Shout out Dreamville, yo.
Yeah. Before we finish this off, by the way, did you have any questions for me? I've been doing this segment for the last 3 episodes, and I want to just like keep it a consistent thing. Do you have any questions for me at all that you want to ask? I'll keep it as brief as I can.
To be honest with you, the only thing I really wanted to ask was, how did you come up with the name?
Oh.
But you kind of already like mentioned it. But you said you talked about it. You were thinking about it for like a year.
Yeah.
But like, why For the Culture?
Usually it's like, it sort of like filters, right? Like how it happens is that whenever I come up with a name for something, it just sort of like filters into my brain somehow. It just comes out of nowhere and it just sticks. And it's just like, okay, I guess I'll go with that. You know, it's like For the Culture, I thought just like made a lot of sense. I don't have brainstorming sessions. I just sort of like go out throughout my day. And while I'm doing something, there's always something in the background of my brain just like coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
And so For the Culture just came out of nowhere. And it's just like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do it as. So I was just sort of like certain with the idea since I got it. And, it's called For the Culture CA because there's already a few For the Cultures out there, but CA stands for Canada.
Yeah.
Right. And you may notice that on my Instagram, it's just called For the Culture CA, but everywhere else where you can actually listen to the episodes, that's where the podcast label is. That's done on purpose because that's basically a foreshadow that For the Culture is definitely going to expand into something greater than what the podcast is, but I'm not going to get into details about that.
That's super dope, though.
Yeah. Yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to add, Teon?
Yeah. Again, yeah, Rose Tape coming out August 28th. Look out for that. I really appreciate shares, mentions on Instagram. That really goes a really long way for me. So if you see it in your heart to do so, I'd appreciate that. And then For the Soul, it's going to be me really venting a lot. So yeah, just kind of stick with me for the ride. And it's going to be really interesting to see where this happens. Finalizing some dates. Going to be going on tour in October. I can announce that we will be doing a show at the downstairs of the Habitat October 20th.
Very cool.
So I'll announce that now. Habitat downstairs is a little bit of a larger venue. I really believe between myself and the people who I'm slating to open or play, rather. I don't like that term, open. We're going to be able to fill it out. And I really believe that it's going to be a great show. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm doing Center of Gravity today. And I'm not going to be doing a show until October. So, in Kelowna anyway, until October. So really, really look out for that. It's gonna be super blessed. And yeah, hit me up on Instagram, Teon Gibbs 100.
Hey.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no worries. That was my interview with Teon Gibbs. Very, very promising artist coming out of our Western Canada region. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it a lot. I knew it was going to be a big show, and it was. Honestly, this is the longest show I've ever had. It's about 2 hours long, so amazing. So thank you so much for being on here. That was For the Culture. Make sure you follow us, For the Culture CA podcast, on Spotify, iTunes podcast, SoundCloud, and Overcast, everywhere else. We'll get on to TuneIn and other places as well, and Instagram as well at For the Culture CA. I'm your host, Deepak Batty. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.